Hello, folks, and welcome to Fayearth. My name is Neil, my pronouns are he, him, and I am the creator of this TTRPG set in an alternate 19th century Earth where all the creatures from folklore and fairy tale are real, have always been real, and live alongside society. We're set in the year 1872. We are currently in Paris, though we will be leaving it soon. We are coming close to the 1 year anniversary of the last day of a pretty terrible war between the countries of France and Prussia and the Fey nation of Arcadia. And that's going to be some very deep and poignant moments for us all, and should make for some interesting times. But without further ado, I am going to ask one of our players. Oh, and by the way, just for our viewers, we are down a Mina tonight. Christina is on holidays, having a wonderfully deserved rest. But we are not down a Justine, Polina, just work and life getting in the way of true fun and frivolity. Will be joining us a little bit later in the stream.
Which isn't fucking right. Like,
No,
let's
honestly, it's just rude. Life should not be getting in the way of our fun. So,
No.
without further ado, I will ask one of our players to give us a recap of our last session. I mean, I personally think it should be Annalise because we don't want Sylvia's version of what happened. We want the true version of what happened.
Yeah, let's not have it besmirched by perspective.
R-rated stream.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll make it
R-rated. Oh my god.
So the session started simply. We had, I believe it split off pretty early. So the first half was mostly it was Justine, Annalise, and Mina heading to Mina's pre-booked throwdown. We entered into we kind of went into an underpass, met a intriguing Cupid-esque figure. Who familiar to Mina, who led us into this underground fight club, which was surprisingly more refined than some of us thought it might have been. Lots of surprisingly wealthy people. Observed initial fight, which did not go especially well for at least one of the people there. Mina got put into the ring against a... Who was it that she was against? Sylvia, do you remember?
Big guy.
Really big guy.
Just a really big guy.
He was a
Yeah.
fucking behemoth.
Yeah, just big old beast of a person. Who Mina, they traded some good blows. They had a couple spaces where there was a little bit of tet for tet. They had one round where it was a lot of, just eating the meat kind of punches. But Mina very quickly turned it around with an absolutely decimating flurry of devastating attacks, by which point Justine and Annalise decided to place a bet. Would have been offered better odds had they done so at the start of the fight, because the crowd had quickly realized that Mina was going to wipe the floor with this person, and very much did, only losing a mere handful of grit points. Once that was resolved, the party stuck around for a little bit to watch a championship bout between the current reigning champ and a interesting individual who seemed a little bit unmatched, a little bit slimmer, a little bit smaller, but was covered in witches' totems and various arcane items. And again, much like Mina did with her opponent, wiped the floor with this big reigning champ. Highly unexpected, highly entertaining. Once that fight was resolved, the group observed as this person was kind of approached by, I think it was 3 older ladies of perhaps some might say witch-like appearances, who he very quickly this new person very quickly handed over his winnings to. And this little trio decided to leave and go hit up a local bar with their newly acquired winnings, and were graciously locked in as the barkeep noticed that they had bulging purses and a extreme thirst. So they're having their lovely drinks. In the meantime, one wonderful druid of the group, it was time for a lovely lovely dinner with one Lady Moraine. So after a 5.5 hour flight over to the Tronquay forests, she touched down and was invited in graciously to an extremely lavish and somewhat euphemistic dinner. It was lovely. They shared some lovely words. Lady Moraine kind of explained her personal feelings about being a elf of impressive strength, but some physical disability, which was, fairly unheard of in elven society. A group, a race known to be quite generally perfect and having an imperfection, she sets herself quite aside and is indeed set aside. In that she kind of commiserated somewhat and empathized with Sylvia, who took that on in sort of in a roundabout sort of way, as Sylvia was sadly battling some traumas and some histories and some memories about the war, possibly kind of somewhat poked in by the oncoming anniversary. After a lovely meal, the two of them retired to a sitting room, had another lovely conversation. Lady Moraine got a little handsy, put a hand on some thighs, a hand on some cheeks, facial cheeks.
That's a lie. I know that's a lie.
Well,
No, it's
who
not
can
a lie.
say?
It's not a
Who can
lie.
say? And
Mhm.
effectively proposed. Less formally. So just said how wonderful it would be to, as druids have a slightly longer lifespan than the common mortal. Said that, it'd be lovely to have someone like Sylvia around for however long they'd be around. And Sylvia panicked about the war again.
There was a lot of panicking.
There was a lot of panicking, a lot of it, just various scales of panic. But very kindly, Lady Moraine did not push the issue and merely let Sylvia know that there was a room prepared for her for the evening, seeing as it was rather late. And so Sylvia retired for the night of probably not much sleep. And that's where we are.
So, just something to clarify that was not explicitly said in last stream. One of Lady Moraine's arcane automatons does help Sylvia get basically undressed, because 19th century gowns being what they are, it was actually impossible for a woman to get in or out of these dresses. There was so much lacing with the corsetry and so forth. You needed assistance to get dressed, okay? So the arcane automaton helped her undress, and there was a nightgown, a beautiful fine silk nightgown on the bed for her, okay? So the next morning, Sylvia, when you wake up, there was a lot going through your mind as you lay down in the most comfortable, softest bed you've ever lain in your life. There was a lot of anxiety, your heart was racing, but you had also consumed at least 6 glasses of wine.
Yeah, no, Sylvia was fucking wasted, so...
Yeah. So you did very quickly fall asleep, okay? But the next morning, as I said, you do wake up, and you, in the room, there is the beautiful four-poster bed. There is a chest of drawers to the right. There's a wardrobe. There is a wash basin, and there is, I can't remember the actual proper name for it, and I apologize because I should know this. Those privacy screens that you would have that you would step behind when dressing and undressing.
Mm.
Okay, so there's one of those privacy screens, and hanging from a hanger on the screen is a beautiful dress of an elven style.
Oh.
For you to wear, if you so choose. I do not know the because you don't have a goblin purse, correct?
Sylvia didn't take, I didn't think I was going to be staying over. I don't have any.
So you did not have a change of clothes.
No, I don't. Oh god.
Exactly.
Okay.
So
all right. There's going to be a lot. Fuck. Okay. Well, do you know what? I'll be able to get into this dress without help, so I'm going to put it on.
it's much easier to put on. It's front fastening. It's a single long dress with long draping sleeves. Coming into the waist, it has a high collar, but the neckline does come down.
So,
It
yeah,
is a
that's front.
yeah.
Okay.
There is it's a beautiful white silk, and there is detailed strips of embroidery around the cuffs, around the collar. There is embroidery of what look to be vines coming up across the waist towards the bust.
Was
And
this
there,
the room when I went to bed? When I went to bed?
no, it wasn't.
Okay.
And
Right.
there is
So,
a beautiful floral embroidery detail on the bottom hem of this dress.
fuck. Okay, I'm gonna assume Moraine is slimmer than Sylvia. Does this fit?
It does.
Oh, okay, cool, great.
Yes, it does.
Okay. Right, great, brilliant. This is not uncomfortable at all. Sylvia's just gonna go downstairs because
It fits perfectly, even with your corset on, even with your corset and stays on underneath. And actually, what you actually find is that when you put on your corset and stays and then put on the dress, it doesn't seem to work. So you take a moment, like, okay, well, hold on. So you take off your corset and stays and put the dress back on, and
Okay.
it's almost like the embroidery provides a structure and support to the dress and provides support for your bust that a corset normally would, in quite a figure hugging way, but not in a salacious way.
Okay, you know what? This is fine. Everything's fine. Okay. All right, Sylvia's gonna go down because yeah.
So you head downstairs and you hear the sounds of, clinking of cutlery and so forth in the main dining room. And going down, you see Moraine is sitting down to some breakfast. It's a simple dish. It looks like some sort of a smoked mackerel or something, and some eggs, some tomatoes, some toast, and what you can smell coffee. As she's, good morning, and how did you sleep? Oh, that the dress looks lovely on you. I knew it would. Well, the nature of her clothes are such that they will always perfectly fit the wearer.
Oh, thank you very much.
It's a simple enchantment.
There is some. It is quite involved getting into as a dress that I've also.
Yes, human fashions, especially human women's fashions, are, shall we say, complex.
Ridiculous.
However, you do not have the joy of the enchantments that our gowns have to provide functional support where needed to the feminine form. You must rely on your corsets and such garments instead.
How about you? Did you sleep well?
Oh, I slept perfectly lovely, thank you. Oh, yes, as I always do. I hope you're rested. You do look a little bit tired, if I may say.
Oh, well, I do not normally drink quite as much wine as I did last night. So
yes, it was impressive, I must say.
I apologize if I don't think I said or did anything. I didn't fall, so
everything you said last night was a delight, Sylvia.
Oh, okay. Sylvia's going to sit down and just be like, "Oh God."
and one of the arcane automatons comes and lays down a plate of food for you, and then pours you a coffee.
Oh God, like coffee, so needed, so needed.
It smells so good.
Sylvia's going to have a bit of the coffee, and she's gonna put down the coffee and her staring at it for a second, and then she's gonna say, "You should know, my lady, for what it's worth, I do not and would never see you as broken. As far as I'm concerned, you are wonderful and perfect as you are. So
that's very sweet. And let's be blunt. Compared to you, I'm effectively a demigod.
Oh, well.
Even if I do not have the use of my legs.
Damn.
Yeah, well,
This
you
was
know,
the woman who made a
grenade out of
solar
sunlight. So
grenade out of beams of sunlight.
yeah. So, but when she says that, Sylvia is kind of, she was gonna make, looks like she was gonna take her hand, but when she says that, she kind of goes, "Okay, not a good time to do that. I am going to sit here
So
and shut the
and
fuck
then
up."
the Lady Moraine reaches out and takes your hand.
Oh, because Sylvia had been like, was gonna do that, and then when she said, "Oh, compared to you, I'm a demigod," she would have gone, "Yeah, okay, I'm gonna just not."
She takes your hand and gives it a gentle squeeze.
Oh.
So, after breakfast, would you like me to send you to your friends, to Mina, perhaps?
Yeah, or Justine, via sharing a room. I did not tell them that I wouldn't be coming home, so I hope that they are not worried about me.
I'm sure they trust that you can take care of yourself. You are a very capable young woman.
I suppose, and you know, you are an ally, and so.
I'm glad you see me as such. I know
um,
when we first met, our relationship was not clearly defined.
well, we stumbled on your palace to us accidentally, and you know, everything that happened, but you have helped us so much now, and we had such a lovely evening. So Sylvia's kind of like scrambling for things to say.
So she said, "Well, I suppose. What is your plans next? Are you staying in Paris for much longer? Do you?"
Well, my brother, as I said, is coming on the 7th. So we will be staying. He is leaving on the 11th, so we will probably stay until then. I know that Justine's brother Jan is also coming in the next couple of days.
That is her brother who had the relationship with my sister, yes?
Well, I don't know what you would call it, but yeah.
I hope he is well.
Yeah, I think he has needed time to accept the things that have happened, but I think ultimately he will be okay.
That is good to hear. Well, and she, you have a bit of a chat. Like, you're not having a large, in-depth conversation. You chat pleasantries, and you finish your meal, and then once you finish, you check everything. So I just want to clarify something to do a PowerPoint. Okay, so the Ring of Hoarding is very rare. Okay.
Yeah. So I currently can't use it.
So, do you want to drop an item so you can use it just for the simple logistics of stuffing your dress and all your clothes in while you are teleported?
Yes.
Yeah, cool. We'll just say, and that's like non-relevant game mechanic-y stuff.
I'll swap something out.
Yeah, we're saying you're swapping stuff to do it, and then you can worry about everything else later. Okay. So she says goodbye to you.
So before she does that, Sylvia is just going to say again, kind of, like stammering disaster. I would like to see you again if that is all right. Or
that would be lovely.
Probably busy or.
It would be lovely to see you again. You still have the feather, yes? If you need to contact me?
I do. From what I understand, I light it and your raven will appear to send a message to you.
Yes, exactly.
But you gave the impression it was for emergencies.
Well, I suppose if you use it, I can give you another.
Well, if your feathered friend does not mind, but
he's an old and loyal servant of my family.
Well, I had a wonderful evening and also morning. So hopefully I will see you soon.
Yes, I hope soon. And she kind of reaches out, takes your hands, squeezes them, and then casts her spell. There's a flash of light, and you
Okay.
suddenly find yourself standing not in your room with me, with you, where you and Justine sleep, but
Oh.
in a bar, a pretty
Oh.
nice looking bar. There's about 7 or 8 people here, all unconscious. In one corner, slumped over a table, is a snoring Mina, Annalise, and Justine.
Oh God. Okay. Sylvia is going to kind of pick up her dress and she's going to wander over.
It's clean. Mostly, there's like spilled drinks on the floor, but
Yeah, no,
yeah.
I assume it's like, but there are going to be spilled drinks in a pub.
Yeah.
So,
I thought you were going to say Sylvia's going to take off her dress and like lie next to him and fall asleep.
As you start to move, you see what you're assuming is the barman slumped over the bar, slowly raises his head, and he sees you and he cries out, like, "Where did you come from? I thought I locked the door." And as he shouts out, people start stirring slowly, and there are grumbles and groans from extremely drunk people, still drunk.
Sylvia's going to hold out both her hands and she goes, you did, I'm sure. I teleported in by magic. I am looking for my friends.
Oh God, it's too early in the morning for this. Which friends are yours?
I'm going to point at the small green-haired figure.
She was a good drinker. So,
I know.
Annalise and Justine, can you please give me fortitude rolls?
Sure. Yeah, I can do that.
You can add resistance. If you have the resistance talent, you can add resistance.
Nope.
Just don't
Oh,
peek on my dress.
18 on the dice for a 19. That's not bad.
Okay, right.
Yeah,
Nice.
I rolled 12 and I actually got fortitude of 1, would you believe it or not? I don't have resistance, but I have arcane resistance.
No.
Magic alcohol.
So, you two slowly, groggily start coming to in consciousness, hearing the sounds of the barkeep's shouts and exclamations, and you're like, wait, that voice sounds familiar. So, Annalise, waking up, you are fucked. You're not hungover, but you got about an hour and a half, 2 hours sleep last night. Okay? Actually, maybe a bit more. It's about 8:30 in the morning. You were drinking till 6. So yeah, about 2.5 hours sleep. Okay, Justine, you are exhausted and still completely drunk.
Fuck.
Completely drunk still.
Okay.
Yeah.
Annalise
Right.
just like lifts her head off the table. I'm drinking.
Good
Ross, man's the
morning.
battle station.
Good morning.
Rubs up.
I was not expecting to appear here. I thought I would be in our room, Justine.
Justine just goes and just like falls flat on face flat on the table and just like falls asleep.
Applauds her.
Okay. Annalise,
What time is it?
It is 8:30.
Yeah.
Perhaps, Annalise, if you could grab Justine's other arm and we could maybe...
Mina is like groggily half conscious, but when you tell her to get up, even though she looks like she might still be asleep,
Sylvia's gonna like just clamp her hand down on her upper arm and start violently shaking her.
So Mina just like,
wake up, Mina.
She's getting up and she's following whatever you say to do, but she looks like she might still be asleep, you know?
Yeah. No, like
function.
Justine needs to be looked after. Mina is fine. She can.
Justine was a good student in college. She didn't drink.
Yeah, and she was trying to match Mina and Annalise for the night.
So
which was
Annalise, if you
terrible
could
idea.
take another arm, and we could, I think we should go back to our room. I have a lot to tell you and show you.
Okay, we can do that. How much do you have to tell us? It's so early.
Oh, I think you'll like what I have to say.
She like sobers up a little bit at that.
Justine's like, huh?
Are you at
And then kind of just like,
By the way, you probably use your 2 foot to notice Sylvia is not wearing the dress. That
Yeah,
she
no.
was wearing.
Oh yeah, God no.
Justine, wake up. There's gossip.
It's kind of like gets.
So Sylvia, you take a minute to figure out where in the city you are. You know, okay, we're about 45-50 minute walk from our boardings.
Oh, we're getting a cab. These people are not able for that, and quite frankly, neither am I.
So you hail down a cab and bundle everybody in, and you get to your boardings in about 15 minutes, in like 20 minutes in the cab. Okay.
Yeah.
Like just muttering German nursery rhymes under her breath.
So you get back there. Annalise, you have a messenger pen, don't you?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So when you get to Sylvia and Justine's rooms,
Message on the laptop.
yeah, you get out your pen because as I said, you're not drunk, you're not hungover because of your resistance to poisons. You are just exhausted because you got about 2.5 hours sleep. So you send, using your messenger pen, you send a message to Amanada. You see a silvery font appearing in front of you, Amanada, telling you to head to Sylvia and Justine's. Okay?
Okay, Amanada will just write back. Of course, be there soon.
She writes
So, like,
she has
15 minutes later, Amanada's gotten there. We can say that in the interim, Sylvia, maybe you would have gone down and got some coffee for your friends from the kitchen.
Yeah.
I think
you know what? This was
more than the coffee.
This was self-inflicted. I'm not casting restoration.
Oh yeah, of course not. Yeah.
Deserved.
Absolutely.
I'm not using my mana like you.
Absolutely.
How's Ankleg on the grave doing?
I think he is fine.
He's probably sleepy. We'll just put him in the corner.
Yeah, so when you were drinking last night at about midnight, he just found a rafter to perch on and just fell asleep.
Nice.
Yeah, so he's grand. He's sensible. He's a sensible boy.
He's a very good boy. He's the best boy, in fact.
He's the best boy. So, so you guys are... So, Annalise, you're sipping your coffee, and it is helping a bit. Mina is quietly sipping her coffee, and Sylvia, you're trying to get Justine to drink some coffee.
I think Justine just needs to go to bed, in fairness. I think Justine needs a...
Okay, I'm going to make this brief.
So, Amanada has arrived.
Okay, so...
Aminata, it's been too long.
There was a lot in the Ring of Hoarding, so I'm going to start. So first...
Oh, that's where you were. You just I did not know if you were coming back last night.
I told you I had dinner with the lady.
Yeah, to my credit, I had quite a lot to drink.
Did you sleep in the Ring of Hoarding?
No, I slept in the palace. Look, anyway, so and
Annalise just kind of lightly pats Justine.
Sylvia's kind of hoping nobody brings up the fact that she's wearing a different
dress. You immediately, when you arrive, noticed Sylvia is wearing an elven dress. Like, you immediately notice this. This is clearly an elven noblewoman's dress she's wearing.
Mm-hmm. And I would know. I would know the look of a sleepover afterwards.
Yeah, absolutely. You immediately notice it, okay? So, and Sylvia is looking a little bit ropey, obviously nowhere near the kind of state of Mina or the others, but she isn't the freshest either.
Amanada is going to try and make eye contact with Sylvia, just kind of like, not super obvious, like staring daggers, Cullen style. No, it's going to be like really slight, and I'll just like look at the dress and be like, nice.
Mm-hmm.
And leave it there. I won't say anything otherwise. That's not my business to say.
She loaned it to me. Well, I assume that it is a loan. Anyway, So the Ring of Hoarding. It is a type of a goblin purse. Quite rare, apparently very old and elegantly made. So there was a lot in it. So I will start, and she'll pull out the ruby worth 100, the sapphire worth 120, and the emerald worth 90. Then she's going to pull out the book.
The Grimoire of Consecrations.
The Grimoire of Consecration, the other witchy stuff. The seashell, the witch's amulet.
That was so that the other witchy the other witchy stuff was the warrior witch's amulet and the amulet of protection against disease, a left-handed welt shell with silver engraving set into it.
So these were made by a witch, but they are inactive because the witch who enchanted them is dead. I can only assume that he helped them as a type of trophy of some kind, which makes sense because he did focus a lot of his attacks on Vin. So anyway, other than that, we have his Book of Shadows. Justine, Sylvia's gonna slam it down on the table next to Justine because it's lots of spells, very big. This is for you.
Enjoying this.
Well, I am not feeling amazing either. I want to hear all about your evening when I have. There is more in this. So there was also this scarf, an assassin's scarf, and also a ring of fairy grace, and a compass. What does the compass do again, Neil?
It's a fairy compass.
Fairy compass.
So what a fairy compass does is, where are we? Basically, as a minor action, the user commands the compass to point the direction to the nearest portal into the Fey realm. And while in the Fey realm, the compass will always point in the direction the user wants to go in, preventing them from becoming lost due to the confusing magics of the Fey realm.
And also a sickle of befuddlement.
That sounds confusing.
And there was the shock gloves.
And the shock gloves. Mina, this might be a good one for you. But, so I was saving the best.
I agree, yeah. Succinctly put.
The best part, okay? Is everybody ready? So Sylvia's going to move over to the bed because there's it's just more space. And she's going to empty the 6,700 silver.
Hold on a second.
Onto the bed.
6,700 silver.
Justine is just going to turn, just go oh, shiny.
That's 1,340 each, by the way.
That's a lot of silver.
Oh, I'm not finished yet. And then she's gonna reach in and pull out 5,000 gold.
Holy shit.
Bed is now covered in silver and gold coin. Literally covered. There is over 11,000 coins on the bed.
God in Himmel.
Yeah, so
that
was my evening. How was yours?
Okay, the god decide that was your evening? I won't pry. I'm intrigued, but I won't pry.
Well, we had dinner, as you know, and
lovely.
And we talked, but there was a lot of wine, and I did not want to try and fly home after drinking a lot of wine, which I did. So
I've heard the elven vintages are good.
Yeah, they are. And it was a very nice evening.
You enjoyed yourself?
I did.
Good. Well, that's wonderful.
The important part.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, I did. The lady is very kind and very nice, and so you can. Sylvia's starting. Her face is going very, very red as she's saying this. But how was your evening? I want to know how. Mina, you don't look like you got very hurt.
She was slightly more injured by the drinking than she was the combat. It was kind
Yeah,
of
that's
over.
just the impression I get.
Yeah, it did not last long. I was most impressed. She went into the ring, I suppose you would call it, to the arena, and was up against a Goliath as a person. I would almost assume them to be, of some sort of giant lineage, but
Well, she fights giants, so
It was
yeah,
so
well,
much
exactly. It
blood
was
and
perfect.
sweat. It was awesome.
Justine is still wasted.
Yeah.
Don't remind her when she wakes up, but I think she really enjoyed it.
Okay, well, it's always the quiet ones, I suppose.
This is true. Mina, we won. I mean, I was going to say that Justine and I won 20 gold together, but
that is good.
I mean, relative to what you brought home,
Wait,
suppose.
is it all that we won? All that?
Yeah,
This was what was in. This was
no,
what
999.
was
Let her believe it. It will be funnier.
Okay. Well,
Justine, we won this. We bet so much, and we won this much on Mina. You should thank Mina.
So
Thank
just
you,
for
Mina.
just
I take the time to
for
try and give her like a hug.
Mina, like, arm comes out and taps you to give you a hug back. She's half asleep on the bed.
so I think, well, there's an assassin's scarf and a ring of fairy grace going. I think the amulets may not be useful to us, but if we can find a witch, who knows?
There was those. Important to mention to you, there was a fighter there yesterday who was adorned in various witch totems. And was later approached by sort of a trio of people I could assume would be mentors or patrons, I suppose.
Do you recall what they looked like?
Generic, nondescript
Yeah.
women in their like 60s. There was nothing particularly special about them.
I
Okay.
wouldn't. I mean, I could pick them out of a crowd, but it would have to be a small crowd.
Yeah.
Just I mean, if we saw them, I could point them out to you.
If you saw them again, you'd certainly recognize them, but there was no like really strong identifying features by way of clothing, physical appearance, or anything.
Neil,
It literally could have been anybody's random.
How many days till Jan gets here?
So, if we want to finish with this recap, Justine does go to bed and sleeps for much of the rest of the day, as does Mina.
Yeah, I think people are going to be just fucking used.
Annalise just drinks like 5 coffees and is ready for the day.
So I am going to ask. So Amanada, you're really the only one who can take any magic items right now. Which magic items would you be interested in? So you have 4 power points right now. So just to read out the descriptions for you. So the assassin scarf, which is a rare item, a beautiful silk scarf, which when you use to attack, strangles a target, causing them to suffer the drowning suffocation condition.
Oh, damn.
Okay, can be pulled free with a fortitude might versus target number 21. The owner of the scarf attempts an attack roll with the scarf using their fighting dex or magic as their attack modifier versus the defense of the target. If the person wants if you want to attack the scarf itself, it has a defense of 19, and once it suffers 20 points of damage or more, it's cut free from the target's neck and falls to the ground inert. If the scarf is successfully cut, it does begin to regenerate, and after 1 hour will be fully restored and active. If a person being strangled dies, the scarf releases its hold and can be reused as normal. And you can use dispel magics and the likes to try and stop it. But basically, how it works is when you attack somebody with it, instead of it doing damage, they are immediately suffering from the drowning / suffocation condition.
Well, yeah. Amanada is going to like hesitantly take the scarf and like they're trying to be like, okay, this is cool, this is chill, but you can see that they're like,
This is dark shit here.
yeah, I wonder how this fucker got this scarf. Sort of like, and you can see there's like
Same way we got it, probably.
Exactly. So you can see they're like, okay, merci. I will take the scarf. What about the ring? What does that do?
So as I said, the Ring of Fairy Grace, when you wear it, your dex goes up by 1, and you gain a +2 bonus to the acrobatics, quick reflexes, and swiftness talents. So you don't the talents don't go up to +2. You get a +2 bonus on top of any modifiers you already have in those talents.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if I speak for the rest of us, but I think, that should probably be yours as well.
Oh,
Although one of those items was very rare, so
Both the Ring of Fairy Grace, the Ring of Fairy Grace and the Fairy Compass are both very rare. All the other items are just rare.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Well, if only if everybody else would agree. I don't want to, I suppose, get more than my share. I suppose.
I can't take any more.
So, the sickle of befuddlement is a +1 sickle, and when you successfully hit a target, they must succeed a resolve, willpower, or arcane resistance versus a target of 17. If they fail, they are confused for the next turn and unable to act. If they succeed, they can carry out a major action or 2 minor actions on their next turn.
I'm trying to
That's useful.
think in terms of a sickle. What's
That's
that?
a simple weapon, so you're not trained in that.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the last item, which is obviously going to mean it as soon as she can use it, the shock glove. So what it looks like is a glove made of fine wire and mesh, but it only covers the backs of the hands and the pads of the fingers and thumb. So the palm is completely uncovered, and on the back is set a brilliant piece of quartz crystals that grow with an inner light. It's a collection of crystals. Okay. And the glove holds 3 charges. When a wearer strikes an individual with their hand in an unarmed strike and expends a charge, they send electrical energy into the opponent. The target must succeed a fortitude hardness versus a target of 21. If they fail, they are stunned for 1d4 plus 1 rounds. If they succeed, they are not stunned but lose 1 minor action for 1d4 plus 1 rounds, and the charges recover like the next day. So obviously that's going to mean it.
Yeah.
Like no question about that, but certainly, I mean, if you wanted to take, I mean, right now you could take the Ring of Fairy Grace or the Fairy Compass or any 2 of the other items.
But we don't have to solidify this right this second.
You don't.
Either.
You don't.
We can keep them in the ring thing until,
like we can leave it for now until we're leaving Paris. Like it's not a
super.
Thing we need to...
So what I am going to say is that we then are going to do a little time skip of 2 days. Okay,
so
because
what's the new date?
Well, today it is. This conversation was on Saturday the 27th. We are jumping to Monday the 29th.
When Jan is coming.
Justine waiting at the Grand train station in Paris at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. A train comes into the station, a bustle of people disembarking, and you're looking around. You're looking around, trying to see if you can spot anybody, and after about a minute getting off a carriage in the upper half, you see your brother. He's carrying a small luggage case with him. As he looks around, sees you, waves, and then comes straight up to you, big smile on his face. And as soon as he sees you, gives you a big hug.
Justine runs towards and like gives him a big hug, and like starts laughing and cups his face and like looks at him, because the last time they saw each other, I assume he wasn't in a great condition, because that was after we saved him from basically being like a sex slave to an elven woman.
Yeah.
But she was really hot. We cannot emphasize this enough. She was super hot.
No amount of
And it was
hotness
also
can justify
psycho.
that shit.
Please
She was
understand.
psycho, and she was about to turn him into like a creepy wooden doll.
Yes, that too.
Yeah, and he couldn't.
I mean, if you really want to get crunchy about it, Jesus.
Yeah. So I guess he wasn't doing as great back
He's
then.
looking much better. He looks like he's probably put on about 4 or 5 kilos.
Amazing.
He's looking a lot healthier. He's looking well rested. A little bit tired because it's a long train journey from Ghent, you know, to Paris. So, but and immediately switching into Flemish, of course.
Naturally.
And he's like, "Oh, it's so good to see you, sister."
So good to see you too. Oh my god, how's your road? Are you tired? Where are you staying? You owed me the
Let's
transportation.
we how about we'll get a cab to my hotel.
Absolutely, of course you want to rest, of course. And Justine is going to like run towards the cab and like try to find one.
Yeah, so yeah, you
Yeah,
jump you jump in a cab and he heads brings you to like it's a pretty nice hotel. We're not talking like top level hotel, but it's pretty nice. Okay, it's in one of the slightly more bourgeois arrondissements.
it's practical. I assume like it's nice enough to be pleasant to stay in, but it's reasonably priced. It's a quality for money for quality, nothing extra, but still quite nice. That's
So it's what it is it's like it's fancy enough that if he wanted to invite somebody to have a meal with him, he doesn't look like he's poor and shabby, but it's
yeah,
still not one of the top
yeah,
5-star hotels in Paris, you know?
yeah.
Yeah.
Which we wouldn't pay for like a 5-star hotel in this family.
Yeah,
Why?
exactly. Yeah. So yeah, he's actually very excited to listen to you. So please tell me, what adventures have you gotten into since you saved me from that elf?
Oh my god, there's so much to unpack. I got drunk for the first time in my life a couple of days ago.
No.
Like properly drunk. I don't remember anything that happened. Can you imagine? Don't tell my don't tell mom. But I'm so
What
ashamed, I'm
would
so
our mother
embarrassed.
say about her precious, perfect
Oh
little daughter?
no! I know, it's so horrible, I'm still ashamed. I can't look my friends in the eyes.
Oh,
It's horrible. What would they think about me? They had
oh,
to carry me back home. Can you imagine?
I cannot. Her
I know.
father's ill health would be even worse from the shock of this.
Please don't tell him. Please.
Oh, terrible, terrible.
Yeah, please.
I'm assuming it's those friends of yours being a bad influence.
No, they're great. They're great. He's obviously being like sarcastic, and Justine is like not picking it up whatsoever. She's like,
Mm-hmm.
no, no, my friends are the best. They're amazing, and she
Mm-hmm.
will just start kind of reciting stuff, all of it,
So
being
do you?
absolutely
So this is
concise.
what I. How do you tell him literally everything that's been happening?
Probably not. I will tell him like fun stuff. I'm not going to tell him like all the many times who were killed, although almost killed and like being on the verge of killed and being killed and brought back by the restorative spark. So she is going to tell him everything, but she's going to dilute it and make it almost like it's a kid's story. She knows that he probably wouldn't believe her, so she's going to
Mm-hmm.
tell her like about the vampire and like 500-year-old vampire that fell in love with like one of my friends with Aminata. You know Aminata. Remember her, my friend.
Yeah, she was
And we
quite
thought,
beautiful. Yes.
oh, oh, she is.
Um.
She's stunning.
Yes.
And like we fought him and we defeated him, and she was going to tell him about like all the cool spells he used and
So,
stuff like that.
Justine, give me an awareness roll.
Okay, that's a mighty 9.
Okay. So, just as you're finishing this conversation about fighting the elf, you're in the lobby of the hotel. you've ordered a coffee, and you just finished telling the story of the elf that you fought, this 500-year-old ancient master spellcaster, and like describing the church and how he cast a spell that reversed gravity and flung you up into the rafters and all that. Leaving out the bit where you left out the bit where he nearly killed Gwyn with a single spell, doing
Yes.
127 points of
I'm leaving out all the like grim stuff.
Yeah,
I'm telling
but
him the fun stuff.
yeah. But as you finish and talk about, and then we were victorious, he just grabs you and pulls you in close to him, and he's like, "I know whatever you're telling me is only half of the story because I remember the fight against the elf. So I know, however bad this may seem, it was 10 times worse. You're my only sister. It's just you. There's no one else." And he squeezes you into him so tight.
Oh my God, that's. Justine's just going to start sobbing, like that's it.
Yes.
And she's like, I know, but you know me, I never wanted to be a merchant. I never wanted to use my powers for trade or for protecting ships. I know it's important and I know it's great, but it's not what I want to do. Yeah, you wouldn't believe it. I got so strong. I know so
Yes,
much now,
I know, but
and I
you
can do
see,
so much good for the world.
I fought the Fae in a terrible war. I saw what they can do, and yes, you are strong, but you're still my little sister.
I know, and you're still my brother. And I know you'd come after me. I know
I
you'd come
would.
for me if something happens,
I
just like I
would.
did for you. And I have amazing friends. I really want to introduce them to you. You'd love them. They
I
have my
cannot
back.
wait to meet. I
Me
cannot
too.
wait. Yeah, I cannot wait to meet them. And I'm so. Tomorrow you must come. Tomorrow is the convention. You must come. And then on Wednesday is the ball. You must come to that too.
I will.
And all your
I will.
friends as well. All your friends.
We will come. We will be there. We will be there. And you'll meet Sylvia, who I told you about. She is a
Yeah,
druid.
I
She is
remember. I
wonderful.
remember
And
her.
you'll meet
Yes.
Nasha, and you'll meet Gwyn. And she also they all fought in the war, and they all know what Faye can do.
Yeah.
Well, Aminata didn't fight in the war, but you know Aminata. Aminata is amazing.
Mhm,
She doesn't need to fight in the war to know all of this stuff. She
mhm,
sometimes pull up a trick, and I have no idea how she did it. She can
mhm,
disappear.
mhm.
It's awesome. But I hope meeting my friends will make you feel better,
Yes.
and
So,
you that they always have my back, and they will go to great lengths for me.
you spend the next couple of hours with your brother. You order more coffee. He takes out a selection, a box from his case, and shows you the new range of chocolates that he's been designing with your mother. That they want to now. They're releasing, and talks about the trade. Talks about how there will be delegates from the Mayan, Incan, and Aztec peoples, and he's hoping because some of these empires, the Mayan and the Aztec, the Mayan and the Inca trade in cacao beans as well. So he's hoping that he can get new contacts so they can get their beans for the chocolate and all the rest of that. And you have a lovely afternoon with
Can
your
I
brother.
can I roll an awareness and see if he's actually enjoying being a trader and a merchant, or
Yeah,
if he's
absolutely. Yeah,
following our
yeah,
father's footsteps?
no, absolutely. Yeah. Well,
That's a 10. Great awareness rolls.
you're not. I mean, maybe you're not picking up on anything strong either way. But
Yeah.
yeah, you do have a lovely afternoon with him. Okay, catching up, and he does seem to be quite animated when talking about the upcoming convention and meeting these delegates from the Southern Americas. And
Nice.
folks, I think is a perfect place. We're going to take a very quick pause, 5 minutes. So don't go anywhere. I promise we'll be back, and we will continue this lovely story. Okay, so see you all in five. Okay, quick audio check. And we are good. Super. Hello, folks. My name is still Neil, and my pronouns are still he, him, and I am still the creator of this indie TTRPG set in an alternate 19th century Earth where all the creatures from folklore and fairy tale are real, have always been real, and live alongside humanity. When last we left our heroes, Sylvia returned from her evening with Lady Moraine Le Fay, the Lady of the Forest in Tronquay, and showed the party the literal treasures that were in the Ring of Hoarding, this more sophisticated and powerful version of a goblin purse, as well as the numerous magical items that the party is still trying to decide who should keep. They will probably end up keeping some, but not all, and perhaps selling some of those items to Madame Gautier. Justine has met with her brother Jan, who the last time they saw him was when they saved him from a rather unpleasant situation with a very beautiful but very unhinged elf. And he had since returned back to their family in Ghent, but he is in Paris for a traders' convention. There are delegates from various nations in the South Americas coming to Paris, and he is hoping to make some new business connections because his family are chocolateurs, and the cocoa bean, which is the major primary ingredient of chocolate, comes from that part of the world. So, um, yeah, Justine, you basically spend a lovely day with your brother. You have a long lunch. Um, he asks if you could show him some of the sights of Paris because you've been here a while. The last time he was in Paris was with the Belgian army passing through on their way to the front to fight in the war with Arcadia. So you show him some of the sites. There's the Jardin where the Luciens are, Notre Dame de Paris, and so forth. What other places you want. And eventually, later on that evening, you do come back and you have a lovely dinner in the hotel. Okay. He gives you the address of the place where the trade convention is going to be on. It's in this large kind of warehouse is the wrong word because it's nicer than a warehouse. It's this large building that had been previously built for a kind of like an industrial world trade type event that had happened a couple of years back. And it's since been used for these kinds of large scale events that happen in the city. Okay. And he says to meet him there at 10 o'clock in the morning, and just to tell them that you're his sister, that you're part of the family, and okay.
Awesome.
So, okay. The next day, obviously, Justine, you're going to meet your brother. What are the rest of the party doing? Anything? Are you guys chilling? I mean, I'm assuming Justine would have told them all about the ball that's happening on Wednesday.
Of course, yeah, of course.
Yeah, so we only have like 2 days or something. Okay, well, in that case, Sylvia's not going to bother getting a new dress because, it's 2 days.
Well, as I said, as I was saying privately, the only reason that you would get a new ball gown is because you're worried what other women would think seeing you in a ball gown you'd worn before.
I don't care. Okay.
Sylvia does not give a shit what these pretentious ass bourgeois bitches in Paris think of her,
So the things that Sylvia wants to do, I am going to purchase a dwarven chest. And I'm going to write to my sister.
Yes.
And I'm going to send her the commands for opening the dwarven chest. Ahead of, I'm going to send that, and then 2 days later, I'm going to send the chest itself. Yeah. Is my plan. And I'm going to put 100 gold into the chest.
Yeah. Cool. So just to be aware, the dwarven lockbox is 50 gold.
That's fine.
You got money.
I was like, oh, hey, and now you have a box
700 gold.
Shit. It's fine.
And
also, I'm going to include in the letter that the arcane sparkmans and families, so if it turns out that any of her children have the arcane spark, I'm happy to pay for like college and all of that stuff.
You could train them in druidry.
Yeah, that would mean coming back to Berlin.
Or hey, it's back. It's 1872. They will send a child.
Oh yeah,
They
absolutely.
will send a child by
We'll
train.
mail you a
My
child.
life is
Yeah.
way too fucking dangerous.
Your
for
aunt
that.
looks like this. I flew all the way from Zimbabwe to Ireland by myself.
Yeah, and that's
Obviously, with
fine.
an air
but
hostess, like
I
but
like,
it's possible.
but I'm going into elven palaces and shit. So like, no.
Yeah.
Not. Maybe when things are calmer. Maybe when things are calmer.
After you fight the dragon, you know.
Yeah, I'm more than happy to do that. But you know, we'll see. And what was the other thing I wanted to do? I want to send that stuff. I'm gonna also. I write Gwyn another letter on the Arcanogram. Which I did write. I don't know if people want to read it, whatever. But it's basically the gist is hope you're safe, please come back. Clerk is dead, the necromancer is dead. God, I'm making this sound like a bunch of fucking nut jobs.
Absolutely.
Murder hobos.
Yeah.
You guys are murder hobos.
Dead, decapitated.
Here's all the stuff that was in the goblin purse. Had dinner with Moraine. She's really nice. She's gonna like gloss over everything because she knows Gwyn would be totally like, go for it, you know.
Anything that Gwyn would reply to, it would be some juicy gossip.
Yeah, try and just bait that hook.
Yeah, no, and Sylvia is gonna she's gonna throw that in there.
So much happened since.
She's gonna give a little bit more detail than she gave the rest of the party as well.
Okay.
In the hopes that
Gwyn might reply.
And that's what Sylvia is doing.
Okay, right. So like Annalise haven't had it. You guys are sort of like chilling, recovering. Like, I mean, Aminata, you've got a ton of gowns. You don't need to worry about getting a new one for this ball.
I've actually got a couple things to do, if I may.
Yeah. Because because there was like a time skip of like 2 days till Jan arrived, so you've got like 2-3 days of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna quick one. There's a military hospital in Paris, right?
Yes, there is.
I'm gonna go there and leave an anonymous donation of 500 gold.
Okay.
Then I'm going to quickly visit Madame Gautier to see if she has any pressing work.
Okay. She will get back to you on that.
Cool. And Aminata, like it is, the convention seems like something that they would have gone to for work purposes. Just to be like, that's kind of what their family do. So they would go along to the convention. Obviously, wouldn't be like to Justine, I'm going to be there. Just to kind of be like, you know, I'll let you have your time with your brother. I know it's been a while. Remembering exactly kind of what happened the last time we saw him, Aminata will be like keeping their distance, but also we'll be like, hi, you know, cordial, the usual.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So, Justine, you get to the convention center. You have to, you know, tell them who you are and you're pointing directions, and you go in, and it's vast. Okay, this is a vast space. Okay, it's hundreds of kilometers, hundreds of meters long, like 60, 70 meters wide, and there's various different, like, for want of a better word, stalls. Okay, it's slightly nicer than a stall, but it's basically like spaces that have been set up for different people. But then there's a lot of people who are walking around, you know. So you've got some people with businesses that are actively like, oh, look at our stuff, come talk to us. But a lot of it is just people mingling and making their connections that way. And after about 5 minutes, you do find your brother. Okay. and you see that he is in the middle of conversation with this extremely strange to you looking man. He looks to be in his early mid 40s, human, below average height, dark skin. Okay, so similar complexion to maybe a North African. Okay, jet black hair. He has numerous piercings on his body, including the labret here. You know, not the lip, but the actual below the lip. And he has these golden um, earlobes in his earlobes, which have been stretched down. All right. You can see some tattoos traveling up his neck. He's wearing what a white light. You recognize it as cotton. Most people in Europe are still wearing linen, but cotton has made its way across from the Americas. Cotton shirts with a heavy woolen shawl around his shoulders with a chevron pattern to it. And as you come up to your brother, he says, "Ah, Justine, please." And he has switched to French, of course. "Please, and I promise I will try to get this right, sir. Chikahoa?" And he smiles like, "That's close enough." Okay. Um, he is a delegate from the Aztec Empire. Um, and he smiles. He was like, "It is very nice to meet you. Your brother has been telling me much of your exploits. We have many extremely skilled users of magic amongst my people too. Um, and very learned scholars passing on the gifts of the arcane amongst our young people in our cities as well. Though I myself do not have the gift of the arcane spark."
How interesting. And Justine is putting on her, like, kind of upper class manners.
Mm-hmm.
But you can probably see that she gets a bit disappointed when she says, "I myself don't possess any like arcane abilities." She gets a bit like, "Okay, I really wanted to nerd out about the magic, but it's fine." Yeah, Justina's being really polite, but at the same time, she's really, really curious because I assume she's never seen someone from like an Aztec empire before.
No.
She's obviously read about them, and she obviously like she's aware because like in Feyar's Aztec empire like didn't collapse, and so his mind empire
So
didn't collapse.
the Spaniards did go over. They did attack it. There was some pretty bloody battles, lots of loss on both sides, and you are aware that the Aztec Empire is not as powerful in the region as it was before the arrival of the Spaniards, but it still maintained its a coherence. It didn't fall. It was able to repel the Spaniards, but at a cost, which meant that it did lose some of its power. But it is still a pretty powerful nation.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Justine is just like really curious, and she's kind of contemplating if she should ask any questions about magic or if it's a bad timing. But she kind of decides against it, and she is just trying to be like very neutral and very polite and being like, "Oh, it's very pleasant to meet you. I'm happy to know my brother told you about me. It's great to meet you. What are you doing? What's your business? All the kind of stuff."
Well, obviously, I'm here for trade delegation. I was warned about the weather, and he pulls the shawl around him a bit more. It's April. It's the end of April. So for you, it's like what? It's summer soon. It's getting really warm. But you can see this guy is like, it's so fucking cold. Mm-hmm. It's like, why is it so fucking cold here, you freaks? It's like, and he has this, and you can see he's got the wool shawl wrapped tightly around him. But yeah, so like you talk for a bit, you find out that like what he mostly focuses on is trade of things like cotton, precious and semi-precious stones like turquoise and the likes, as well as gold, obviously, and they do have their own spirits and stuff that they make from different native plants to their region that he's looking to set up trade links with.
Does he have anything with him that Justine can like take a look at?
Does he have any what?
Anything that he trades with him? Does he have like a stall or
no, so you can tell, you get the vibe, this guy is noble. You know, he's not just a normal merchant, he's a noble
Mhm.
that is here to make connections and business deals with
Gotcha.
powerful merchants here in Europe. Okay. So he does not have, he's not, he doesn't have
Gotcha.
goods to show people.
Gotcha.
He
He's
is the
not here
goods,
to
you know? Yeah,
sell
yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is the
Oh
connection.
God, we have people for that, Justine. Come on.
Yeah.
Justine comes from a very practical, very, very, very Germanic family,
Hmm.
very Catholic family. They're all about, okay, we don't need servants if we can do it ourselves.
Yes, but you are also aware of the fact that, like, in this, even in Europe here in this late 19th century, the political class is all nobles who are all related to each other. Like, that is the reality of European democracy, is that the elected politicians in parliaments
Yeah.
and those people um with official duties and titles in government, they're all from the upper, so-called upper echelons of society. They're all from noble families, you know, like the minister of foreign affairs, if you will, of one country is the cousin of the minister of trade from another country, because the nobility of Europe is all inbred. So this idea of, okay, yeah, he's a noble, he's here for trade, you're used to this kind of thing, you know.
Yeah. Okay, fair. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, you have to put a time on, and he's like, he seems like an interesting guy. And a little while later, he heads off, and you find yourself talking to another South American, this time a woman, much younger, looks to be in her late 20s, also kind of short, below average height, similar dark complexion and jet black skin. Doesn't have long spacers in her ears, but does have earrings and various golden bracelets and rings, and wearing similar cottons and wools and richly colored geometric patterns. And she is quite beautiful, and her name is Incasisa. And you find out that she is actually from the Inca Empire, and she's quite direct with you. And it's like, so our peoples, as you know, we do produce the cocoa bean. It's one of our main exports. You're interested in this, we could certainly try to come to some sort of an arrangement. Um, it would all come down to what you are looking to trade with us for. There are certain items that we would be interested in, of course. Um, the wines, for example, of this country and the southern countries have become quite popular amongst my people. Um, as well as some of the technologies that are being developed as well here. I mean, obviously we accept gold too. Who does not? Gold is important, but you know, and you can see, okay, she's very kind of direct, very strong-willed, and and she's asking you like, so, how much are you involved in the family business? Your brother said that you grew up around your family's chocolate industry as well. Yes.
Yeah, Justine is just like, I I have no idea.
Oh, that's disappointing. I always find that I have a much better time talking to other women about these things. We tend to be more to the point and less ego driven.
Sorry, I have to admit, a message came through the chat from my housemate because we're looking for a new housemate, and it's really, 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 really. So I switched off there for like a second because I thought it was something
That's
urgent.
perfectly fine.
I'm really sorry. It's just like I'm really fucking tired, and I usually, I usually pay a lot of attention to streams,
Hmm.
and today is not an exception. It's just a lot is going on. Would you mind rewinding? Because it was a horrible timing. I'm really
Um,
sorry.
all she says is she's wondering how much you're involved in the family business.
Oh, okay. So yeah, Justine has an idea. Sorry, it's just like this particular phrase, the question. I apologize so much, honestly. I'm really sorry because I didn't even think I would be able to play tonight's stream, um, because we're so all over the place with all of that, and we have to find someone in like 2 weeks, and we have no one. And then if we don't, the entire rent for the fucking apartment isn't two of us, and it's like an extra grand. So
Yes.
it's really stressful. I'm really
Oh.
sorry. So like
It's
everything
fair
that
enough.
she says through the chat, I have it like unfortunately on my computer. So I just went like, eh. And my brain is incapable of like multitasking at the moment. So my apologies for all the viewers. It's a human error. Um, yeah, Justine was just going to say that she's unfortunately not very much involved in the business because she's never really got interested in it. She's just going to say, I'm just not very much into trade. My father really wanted me to step in, and of course, us both to conduct the business. But see, I'm gifted with arcane, and it's a blessing and it's a curse to an extent.
When you say that, she's very interested. She says, "Oh,
Oh yeah,
really? Oh, I do not have the gift of the arcane myself, but my older brother does. He is actually a priest with in our city. Quite an
priest.
important position. Yes, yes, a priest. Um,
That is unusual. A priest.
how so? You have priests here in Europe, do you not?
Oh yes, but usually there won't be people gifted with the arcane. See,
Really?
yeah,
Oh no. Most of the priests amongst my people would be gifted with the arcane.
Justine's just like, I would really like you to tell me more.
Unfortunately, I could only tell you on the most superficial level. If my brother was here, he would talk with you for hours and hours. But
I don't. I'm afraid I even lack a superficial knowledge. Of course, I knew my knowledge of this area of the world and this part of the world is very, very much surface level.
hmm,
And forgive me my ignorance. Of course, I'm aware. Of course, I know that you don't practice religion the same way and you don't have the same religion.
well, we
I
have our gods, but just not your strange god on the stick.
oh, absolutely. Houston is just like, no, really, she doesn't care. She's like, yeah, he is a god on the stick. Like, what can I do? She's speaking facts. Like, yeah. She's like, but I didn't know that arcane was treated so differently. And she's
Yes,
just briefly going to like explain the situation between the church and like magic and the tension. Let's put it that way.
no. In amongst my people in our empire, if a child is found to be gifted in magic, they are taken into the priesthood to train. The clergy holds such an important position in our community, in our culture. Our connections to the Lord of the Sun is such a strong, and I mean, you must understand that um, our king and queen are said to be direct descendants of the sun god. I don't know. I don't personally believe that, but people nobility claiming a divine right to rule, the usual thing, But if you are found to be gifted in magic, you are usually trained to be a member of our religious class, which is a very important, very influential position amongst my people. It seems that the magic in this part of the world is a lot more scattered, if you will. There seem to be so many different types of practitioner.
Definitely. Is it not? Is it not like that in your world?
I
In your
mean,
part?
you would have local healers who would have some gifts and in some minor charms, and they would have some magics, maybe. But if anybody is shown to have a strong level of skill, they would become a member of the religious orders.
Hmm.
That is
And
where they would get the training to truly harness those skills.
and are the members of those orders and priests of different gods, are they all trained in different ways? Or is the training roughly the same if it's not a
No,
sacred
the
code?
training is the same, but different priests would specialize in different areas of magic. Some might be healers, some might focus on magics of the wilderness and the jungle. Others would focus on magics of earth and stone. You understand? Whatever arcane energies they have the strongest affinity to.
Hmm.
And some would even be involved in magics of death.
That is so interesting. Magic of death.
Of course.
I'm sorry. My apologies for my curiosity, but
No,
I hope you forgive me my ignorance, and I hope
no.
I hope you would forgive me if this question is offensive. I don't mean it in an offensive way, but there are a lot of rumors and there are a lot of talks about uh, your people in here, and I'm sure none of them are true, and or some of them might be true. And it is just my curiosity speaking for me. And if my brother heard me right now, he would have murdered me. Uh, I'm really curious about the type of death magic your priest might practice.
Um, Spells that would be used in the carrying out of executions of, criminals and political prisoners, but also they would be used alongside our warriors when fighting enemies of our people. So when the Spanish came, those priests who had a gift in death magic were heavily involved in the wars to repel that invasion.
Justine was like, I wanted to know about human sacrifices, but I didn't want to mention it. So she's like,
So
since you didn't mention
so
it,
she's not. So that's the thing. Like when she says like she mentions executions,
yeah, which
not
would be
sacrifice. You know.
yeah,
So
yeah. So that's what Justine assumed, because like, why would
yeah.
you use magic to execute someone unless it's an execution?
Yeah.
No. She just has so many questions. She would just like she could talk to this woman for like ever,
But she's a
forever
very
and ever and
charming
ever.
woman. You'll be reading during the conversation. She's very direct, very to the point.
Yeah,
Very to the
that's
point.
what Justine likes, because like zero
Yeah.
social clues. Like you have to be
And
direct with Justine. She has no fucking clue.
Jan does come in. He's like, so as I said, my sister is quite fascinating. I must say, I am the less interesting of the two, but I do have a great love of one of the finest creations of your people, and that is the wonder of the cocoa bean. And she's like, okay, realize, okay, he's getting back to talk about trade and business. So she does indulge me again talking to him about that, and she's like, you do see her Tom's like, if you were to maybe procure a book with writings of certain spells and magics used by European casters, that might help secure a deal. And then Jan looks at you.
Sure, I would be able to assist. I would be happy to assist you in any way I can.
Mm-hmm. That would be wonderful. You currently have, what's it, 3 books of shadows that you recently acquired?
Yeah,
One
Do you
yeah,
from
want to keep any of
one
them?
from a 500-year-old vampire, one from a necromancer, and then one from a artificer with questionable morals.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Exactly. So, she's like,
So yeah, it's literally like take your pick.
Questionable. We know he's fucking nuts. A terrible fucking person.
So yeah, so you're
so
like
I assume Justine meticulously copied them, um,
she.
in advance.
I'm going to say you would have because you've only recent. So let me
Fair.
just.
She
You
would have
haven't
probably
had them for
copied
the.
the one by Montclerc, because she's had the one from Montclerc for a while.
Well, I'm just going to say. So you fought and killed the bar. Today is the 30th of April. You fought the Baron on the 19th. And you fought Montclerc on the 22nd, and you fought the Necromancer on the 25th, I think.
Mhm.
So you've had the Baron's Book of Shadows for 11 days. You've had
Yeah.
Montclerc's for 8, and you've had the Necromancer's for 5. So not that long, really.
Am I mistaken? Didn't Justine have Monclerc's Book of Shadows for a while?
No, she had his journal with his notes on his
Oh.
experimentation. It wasn't the Book of Shadows.
Again, am I tripping, or did his Book of Shadow fell out of the ring?
No,
Barons.
Oh, actually, apologies. You're right.
Yeah.
The Barons
No,
when you
I
just
only have like Barons. I probably
no,
haven't had
you
a
are.
chance to
Apologies.
finish.
You're right.
So
You literally.
Monclerc's is the one, because I don't remember.
Monclerc's is the one you had the longest. The Baron you killed, but didn't get his Book of Shadows until Sylvia brought it back from the ring. You're right. Apologies. So you've had Monclerc's Book of Shadows for 8 days. So I'm going to say you had the time to copy 5 spells. You have access to that Book of Shadows. I believe I did share the file with you.
I do, yeah.
So you can pick 5 spells that you would have had the time to copy, but you don't need to do it right now. Okay?
Fine.
Or you
Fine.
can just keep it and
Okay.
do your brother's business.
No, family first. Family first. Plus, Baron, excuse me, 20th level sorcerer, 5.
I mean, that's the stuff you're gonna really want to crack into, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, you could have freaky ass artificer or ancient vampires Book of Shadows bound in human skin. I mean, come on, which do we really want?
Of course. Freaky ass artificer, we have Madame
It
GTA.
was just vellum, like regular old goat skin.
No, it's not valid. So, after she leaves, and yet again, you're like, she's like a princess or something in the Inca people. Like, she's clearly highborn. Like, Yanderson is like, could you really do that? Could you really get me such a book?
Of course.
He gives you a big hug.
Oh.
Squeeze you like bear hug. Is like, you are a wonder and a dream, and clearly the smarter of the two of us. And obviously, it is clear to all why you are mother and father's favorite. And
Don't tell me that you only realized it now.
we all know I was very slow.
But you have those muscles.
I do, and I am quite pretty as well. So,
considering that they're twins, she'll be like, "Yes, you're the prettiest one."
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So if you are actually going to give Monclerc's Book of Shadows, you and your brother you sit down with this Incan princess basically, and you secure a really, really strong trade deal between them and your family's business to directly supply cacao beans of the highest quality to your family to make really good chocolate.
Yes, Justine is going to do that.
Mm.
I had a look through like Monclerc's Book of Shadow. It's awesome. And it's amazing.
Yeah. But in fairness, there was a lot of stuff from spheres that you like. He's big into the sphere of chaos, which is not your thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I was like, it's cool. Some like cool arcade spells. But while I was looking through it, like personally as a player, I think there were only like about 5 that I really liked. So we're good.
Yeah, the thing with Monclerc was where he really focused was the sphere of fire and chaos.
Yeah, exactly. And I think Justine, she has such a like a personal relationship with Monclerc. We all do by this point, and the fact that she almost got her hands on his Book of Shadows, and then she got it again, and it was more like okay, we did it.
Yeah.
And now I think she's more than happy to let it go. In fairness.
Nice.
Because
well,
I think that was like the biggest like PTSD Justine had so far. In fairness, even though
absolutely.
it didn't really affect her directly.
Yeah,
and it wasn't something she was dealing with. It was like old Minna's story arc, but still she could see like that this could have happened to Sylvia, or this could have happened to Justine's brother if he was a tad bit unlucky, or it could have happened like to anyone, and it's happening to Minna's brother, and just like the shit he was doing, because she was fascinated with him at first, and then she was like, "You fucking sick fuck." Yeah, so I think at this point she doesn't even want to keep it.
well, as I said, you can still copy 5 spells from it that you could at higher levels then add to your book of shadows, and you do not do arcane research to get those spells.
Amazing. If you could send me a text and explain how this whole copying from other people's work, Book of Shadow
Well,
works,
absolutely.
I'd be really grateful because I forgot.
Yeah, no, it's cool. So, you have a really so after this, you're like Jesus. Like he talks to a few other delegates. He talked to a delegate from the Mayan Empire as well, and a few other delegates. There's like some Spanish and Portuguese colonialists from South America too. But like after this thing that you've secured with this Incan noble woman, you were like, this is brilliant, and you actually end up leaving earlier than you would have thought you were going to be leaving because of this. You're like, holy fuck, this is amazing. You've like just really, this is a game changer for him, what you've managed to secure by way of a trade deal. And he does explain to you that, well, tomorrow is the ball, and he tells you it's in a very, very fancy hotel. And he says if you would be there for 8 o'clock, okay. And he does say that he has added. You gave him obviously all you included your new friend Annalise, and he has included the names of all of your party on the guest list. No plus ones or anything, but your names are on the guest list. Okay? So, you guys, the rest of the party, doing all the stuff that you're doing, going to Madame Gautier, going to the post office. Amanada, you're doing whatever family businessy stuff you want to do at the trade convention as well. And then the next day, there is the ball. You know it's at 8 o'clock. You're told about the fancy posh hotel where it's going to be on. You have a day to prepare, to do your hair, do your makeup, all that stuff.
Yeah.
I'm assuming Justine's gonna help Sylvia out with stuff. Sylvia is gonna say to Justine just while all this is happening, I don't know what to do with this dress that Lorraine loaned to me. I am not. I think I need to give it back, but I suppose I can wait until after the ball.
I think she's an elven nobility.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she has billions of those dresses.
Oh,
and
of course.
It clearly fits you perfectly.
Well, that is the enchantment on it. It's apparently it works that way for anyone.
Anyway, if I were you, I would have maybe kept it because it
I don't want to.
And it's an amazing dress. But if it doesn't make you feel good, of course you know where to find her. You know how to get to her, and you can always bring it back.
Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna have to do that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Go.
Unfortunately, I don't think you can send it by post.
No, that's fine. I will go the long way. That's
yeah.
But, I don't need to do that now. Presumably, you're gonna help me with my hair.
Of course.
Oh yeah, you get yourselves all dressed up and you head to the ball. Okay, all looking beautiful and pretty, wearing your fabulous gowns, and you get there, and you do see your brother. He's in a fabulous, very, very fancy looking suit, looking very, very swanky. It's a beautiful ballroom that you're in this very, very posh hotel. There's a gigantic candelabra full of fairy lights, fairy globes. No candles, all enchanted balls, and there must be at least 40 or 50 of them on this giant candelabra. It's a fairly big crowd of people as well. There's easily 80 people here, including the South America's delegates. You do see the people that you'd met previously, the Aztec delegate, and the Incan noble lady that you have now secured this contract with. And she does come up to you and talk to you somewhat, talking about how it's very different to what she's used to. Their music is quite different to European music, and their style of dance is quite different indeed. And she is enjoying the food, but she does say how she really would love a nice bit of guinea pig, and she misses it. And you're like, you don't know what a guinea pig is.
Oh, the
And
Usually we just
curry.
assume
and
it's a rabbit of
The,
some
the
sort.
she,
curry
yeah,
that they eat over there, yeah.
yeah. So she has to explain to you, and you realize that she's basically describing some sort of large-ish rodent that apparently they love to eat and they roast.
You see, would just be like, okay, it's just a rabbit.
Yeah, it's not a rabbit. She's like, it appears to be more like a giant rat.
You. She's like, I'm sure it tastes great.
Oh, it really does. Yeah, with the right spices, it's lovely. As long as you cook it properly on the bone. If you try to take the meat off, if you try to remove the bone or the skull, no, the flavor is lost.
Just for the context, like I'm vegetarian, so like me, not used to.
Our poor resident vegetarian is horrified by my 100% accurate description of a common dish that is still served to this day in the Andes highlands and would have been eaten by the ancient Inca people because it's still eaten by the indigenous descendants of the Incas in the Andes. And I had it, and it was quite nice, but it was literally a guinea pig on a plate, teeth and all.
The texture is fucking weird.
So yeah, you're having a pretty lovely time. And Yan and you do dance. The Incan Nobla, she's not dancing. She's like, this music is not the music that I've grown up with. I don't know these dances. But she's enjoying herself. She's enjoying the fine wines. She's enjoying the foods. And you have good conversations. And she does actually get into when you introduce her to the rest of the party, but especially Sylvia as your friend who is also gifted in magic. She's really interested to talk to you, Sylvia, especially when you tell her that you're a druid, so your magic is nature based.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah, I am skilled in sphere of the file, so I can grow protective bark on my skin. I can make food more nourishing. I can also turn pine cones into grenades, but
what of the magics of the sun?
Of the sun, I know of a spell to create a sunbeam. I don't know it yet. You basically conjure sunlight and release it, but it is a very powerful spell.
Some of the priests of my people, they would often use magics that harness the powers of the sun itself.
There is another less powerful one to harness the light of the moon, but I do not know that one either.
I see.
I'm also a healer, and I am able to turn into animals, and also.
So you mix both healing magics and offensive magics.
Yeah, well, my friends and I, we are adventurers, so I need to be able to protect myself.
Amongst my people, those who are gifted in healing focus on healing. Those who are gifted in spells of war would focus on spells. It's rare that you would find somebody mixing the two because they would tend to focus on the magics that they are strongest at, if that makes sense. So it's quite fascinating. She's like super into this guy. And what of your friend Justine? Is she the same? Does she mix healing magics and
Justine is more she is very, very skilled at harnessing the essence of spells and magic itself. So if I was to cast a spell, Justine would be able to intervene and stop me from casting that spell.
And she is like blown away by this. She's never heard of this ability before, of being able to
She can use raw arcane energy offensively also. But she also, like me, has some magics of the earth as well. So Yeah,
She's
she
really fascinated by this.
yeah, no, Sylvia's gonna like, talk about how, when we've been in battle, how Justine has like stepped in and stopped really powerful horrific magic attacks, and basically go like, Justine is fucking awesome. She's great. You want Justine on your team. She's brilliant.
As you're saying this, you hear a beautiful feminine voice saying, and yes, Justine is quite skilled in magic. She's an incredibly powerful sorcerer. And you look and you see Madame Gautier standing there, smiling.
Oh.
And she says, "It's so lovely to see you again, Sylvia. My name is Madame Josephine Gautier. And this is my dear friend." And she gestures. There's a strikingly beautiful young woman who is on her arm.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Blonde hair with beautiful blue eyes, soft, delicate features, and alabaster skin, a slender form, and quite lovely. She says, "This is my dear friend, Elodie."
Are you fucking kidding me?
How many of us are here for this at the moment?
What?
You guys are there if you wish. Absolutely.
Sylvia is going to send, because she genuinely doesn't want to make things awkward, but at the same time, she is a little bit what the fuck. She's going to quickly, because as a restricted caster, I can cast cantrips without being obvious. I am going to say, have you heard from Gwen? Is she all right?
To Madame Gautier?
Yes.
Okay, to which she replies, "Unfortunately, no. I've sent her 1 or 2 messages, but she has not replied. I think she has decided to move on with whatever path she is on now."
And Sylvia's going to be like, as have you.
1 or 2 messages. 1 or 2 messages. That is.
Sylvia is going to say, as have you. And they're very, and they're, you can take all the shade you fucking want with that, because fuck this bitch. Sorry, but
so you reply, as have you, to which she replies, speaking, not using magic. "Well, life is short and brief. We must live our life to the best of its abilities, and we must respect the choices of others. And if you'll excuse me, I'm sure talk to you again soon." And she wanders off.
When she starts talking about life being brief, Sylvia's face.
Oh, she's gone. Yeah.
But when she says that, Sylvia's face immediately goes really fucking red.
Yustine's just going to to the princess whose name Incan princess, whose name I didn't write down.
It's okay. Yeah.
And she'll be like, "Excuse me, would you excuse us for a second?" And she's just going to just drag everyone out for a second, and Jan as well, just for the fucking moral support, and just bitch outside.
Yeah. Group bitching session.
I think we need a group bitching session, and Jan is just going to be just like, "What the fuck?"
Sorry,
very confused.
He's going to be collateral damage because.
Yes, Jan extremely confused, wondering why his sister and her friends are suddenly furious, standing not outside but in the foyer of the ball, wondering what is happening, kind of nervous. I think this is a perfect place to pause in our story.
Oh no.
Oh,
thank you all so much for joining us tonight. Next week is going to be full of even more fields.
What did I fucking say about her? What did I say?
Hey.
We all did. We're like, she is sketchy. Giving
sketchy as.
She's not sketchy. She's a wealthy woman who likes young women, and she's fucking.
No creepy at all.
Listen, that is still sketchy. I don't give a fuck.
What she might be on our side. That's fine, but she's a fucking sketchy bitch. Honestly, what the hell?
Oh, if Elodie is staying at Gwen's apartment. Oh, arson.
No.
Of course she is. Of course she is.
It took her 11 days. 11.
Crime. I am getting more involved with crime.
Yeah, what are we gonna fucking do? She's
burning down that shit. To the ground.
So,
Well, it's not like I can really say anything right now. 'cause-
I thank you all for joining us. I really hope you can make it next week. It will be the 1 year anniversary of the last day of the war between France, Prussia, and Arcadia, and there will be a lot of fields. So make sure you don't miss
Try my
it.
best to
But
make it. I really
yeah,
hope I could. And I'm really sorry for it being
it's
disrupted there for a second. Just
and
Very
life
nice.
is being
Like,
stupid.
you're all good.
anyway, thank you all, as I said, for joining us. We shall see you next week, same bad time, same bad channel. Until then, bye everybody.
Bye. Ooh, that shady motherfucker bitch.
Like,
Oh my
listen,
god.
it's